60s and 70s, iRADIO 76, CKiW.
CKiW, iRADIO 76 proudly presents the 515 Show with your host, John Sarver. Who's at the 515 door today?
You know, the funny thing is that we were at Autorama and we talked to Chucky. He was a hell of a guy, and so he kind of showed us other folks and stuff, and we saw this guy. He wrote a wonderful piece on Facebook. And when we saw it, it was incredible. And we were talking about promoters, and we were talking back and forth, and we knew that we just had to have this gentleman on with us. He's incredible. You know him, the infamous John Quick. Hi, John.
What's happening, sir? How are you?
Dandy. What part of Michigan are you residing in right now?
I actually live in Taylor. Taylor's just outside of Detroit.
Wow. Okay, so you're enjoying this wonderful sun and 80-degree temperatures.
Yeah, isn't it something? Can't make up its mind. 2 weeks ago we had 80-degree weather. Now it's like I don't even want to go outside. Like, yeah, it's horrible. I mean, gotta make up its mind.
John, are you a lifelong Michigander?
Oh yeah, I've been in Michigan my whole life.
So that you enjoy these kind of springs.
You know, I used to not mind the wintertime because I need a break from racing. So, you know, if we race 12 months out of the year, I'd really be broke. At least in the wintertime, I could kind of recoup my funds a little bit and take a little break. And then come springtime, I want to go race again. But, yeah, it's harder to get excited for the season more and more. You know, last year we raced 12 out of 12 months, though. Last year we went to Texas and raced in January. I mean, we went all over the place last year. So this year we actually took a couple months off.
Yeah, but it had to be tough last year because everybody was saying the price of gas and things you couldn't get parts of and stuff like that. Man, it had to be tough on you.
Oh, it's always tough. But, you know, when we travel so much, you know, it's expensive. And, you know, when you're out traveling so much, you try to win something and try to get some money back, you know, to recoup the funds. You just don't always want to be at a loss, you know. So, the hobby stuff, it's kind of past the hobby stage now. So if we're not winning races, it's not fun to go to.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be kind of tough. I mean, you take a look at the schedules that come out in January, and how do you pick the races you want to go to? I mean, a lot of them, you know, they have the big purses and stuff. But, I mean, are there some tracks, some races that you go, you know what, we had a blast there. We got to go back again.
There is. There's like an online schedule right now, so we kind of pay attention to that every weekend. I forgot who put it up. Someone put it up, and it's got every race, like every no prep race, every small tire race, you know, for the whole season or for the whole year. It's on a calendar, online calendar. So we usually go out there and look, but yeah, we've been picking now like guaranteed pots. Like if it's just 100% payback, you know, driving man, we're not going unless it's extremely convenient for us. But if a promoter's not putting something on top, we're not going.
I mean, you go to all four corners of the United States, don't you?
Oh yeah, we travel. Man, we travel. We were coast to coast from Mexico to Canada last year, and yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, you're just traveling, trying to make some money.
Well, I mean, that's got to be good for you because I'm sure that your car and your truck goes down and you fly right in on race day, right?
I wish. Yeah, I wish. Usually, like when we did No Prep Kings, right? You leave Thursday, you drive all day Thursday, and then you would race Friday and Saturday. You drive all day home Sunday, and then you work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, trying to maintenance the car and try to make some money to go racing the following week. And, yeah, it was not a good time.
I mean, how many guys, John, go with you when you go racing?
I usually got at least one. You know, it's hard. It's hard for people to do that schedule. You know, people got to work. You know, it's a lot of money. You know, I try to cover what I can for my crew, but you know, I can't pay them a salary. It's too much money to do to maintain the car and do what we got to do, to pay a crew. So a lot of times it's just friends. Hey man, you wanna go to California for a couple weeks? Yeah, let's go. So then you go to California for a couple weeks, race, and then you come home. And you got to eat at home, you got to eat on the road. So it's the same thing. I usually cover the room and board and whatever else. But other than that, it's tough. It's tough to find people that are able to go with you all the time.
I mean, when you go on the road with one or two of your friends, who cooks?
We eat a lot of Taco Bell.
Okay.
Yeah. Whatever they got at the truck stop, and a lot of bags of chips and ho-hos, right?
Yeah, I mean, really, how much Mountain Dew can you use to drive the truck all the way down there? Because I'm thinking you're not just driving a small 150 pickup and away you go. I mean, that's a pretty big entourage.
Well, we got when we travel far, it's a semi. It's been converted to an RV, but it's a big trailer. We can put multiple cars in it. All our tools, when you travel, you gotta kind of pack as much as you can in case you never know what you're going to break on the road. So
yeah.
You kind of want to have everything there with you so that you're not, 30 hours from home and you can't fix it.
I mean, John, do you drive the semi when you go out?
Oh yeah. It's registered as an RV, so you don't need a CDL.
But I mean, my thought is when you're driving, like say from Taylor to California, that's a long drive. That's not you ain't going to Wyandotte. That's a long haul. I mean, are you thinking of the race going up? I mean, can you hear the person next to you talk? Are you locked in?
No, I mean it's crazy. You get some random discussions. You start learning another person when you start driving 30 hours with someone. I mean,
random.
The conversation goes pretty crazy. Pretty far where the conversations go. Just to try to do something, just to stay motivated to keep driving. Usually if we're on a long trip, usually we try to get 2 or 3 people to go with us, and then that way one of us could sleep and the other 2 could stay up and keep the other person up, and then kind of rotate.
I mean, do you play like Slug Bug or something to keep yourselves awake?
No, man. We just put in the radio. They all hate my Jelly Roll. I listen to Jelly Roll, and they all hate it, but I like Jelly Roll, so we'll just jam out Jelly Roll and drive until you can't keep your eyes open.
I mean, do you know your limit, or do you know where you think, well, if I could have one more Dr. Pepper, I can go a little further?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not one of those guys that drive all throughout the night. The way I look at it is if you drive all throughout the night, you feel like shit the next day, so you kind of waste the next day anyway. So if it gets to that point, just pull over and sleep, and then, at least you'll feel better the next day when you're driving. Yeah, I don't drive all night anymore like I used to. Now, I'll drive to midnight, 1 o'clock, try to get a couple hours of sleep, and then, hit the road again 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. A couple guys who go with me, they like driving at night. I don't like driving at night, so as soon as it gets dark and you start to see those lines, it's like hypnotizing me. I want to go to sleep. But yeah, those guys, they don't mind driving. So hey, if you want to drive and we could knock out a couple states while I'm sleeping, let's do it.
Cool, because, I mean, I was waiting for you here to hit the button of, I could drive all this time when I was younger, but now I'm slowing down.
Yeah, no, it's just my little theory. It's like I said, if you stay up and you drive all night and you 7 in the morning, if you're getting home and you don't get home till 7 in the morning, now you're dead. You sleep the whole next day. So then you feel like crap the whole next day. So you might as well pull over and sleep and then get home at the normal time, but then you're still, you're not falling apart and you're not beat down.
Well, God bless you for driving through Atlanta with an semi.
Yeah. We've been everywhere. It's now it's like if it's only 10 hours. Oh, that's not bad. It's only around the block. The 20, 30 hour trips start getting old.
I mean, I was going to say when you went down to Mexico, I mean, that had to be a thrill just try to get over the border. I mean, they opened up all your doors.
We didn't actually go. We went to McAllen, Texas. We're in McAllen, Texas for all of January, and that's only it was 10 miles from the Mexican border, but it's the southern tip of Texas. So, I mean, we actually, while we're down there, when you're racing, when we're doing the show stuff, we race at night, and we usually race 4 or 5 days out of the week. So we get 2 days off, and you run out of stuff to do. So you're trying to find stuff to do, and one of the things was take a riverboat tour to Rio Grande. So yeah, we went out and took a little boat ride down to Rio Grande. Checked out Mexico, and yeah, it's a whole different world down there. It's crazy, but it's cool, man, to experience that part of the country. I would have never done it unless we were doing unless we were racing.
Yeah, I mean, down there it's it's a little bit different scene than it is kind of up here. Especially for racing. I mean, do you notice when you go to the Four Corners of the United States that it's a different vibe in the Four Corners, or is it kind of all the same everywhere?
Man, the racing people are good. Whenever you go to the racetrack, it's like being at home. Everyone's usually good at the racetrack. It's like home away from home. All I got to do is find a racetrack, and I fit in with everybody. So I'm good until I get to the racetrack. I might feel out of place until we get to the racetrack, but once we're at the racetrack, I'm good.
I mean, everyone's good to you. I mean, what, you come out of your trailer, you do the 10-minute meet and greet and go back?
Nah, Southern hospitality is something. Southern hospitality is something. When we go down south, I mean, everyone down there is genuine. They're nice. They're not rude. It's you go to a couple places like Chicago and New York, and they got that little that attitude with them. Down south, man, most of the people down there are really, really cool people, and then especially traveling so far away, they're thankful that you came and visited them. You went to the racetrack, so for the most part, it's a good time.
John, when you say that, it was like, what was the first time when you went to a track that you really felt like a star? I mean, everybody goes, oh, John Quick, John Quick, and it's like, that's just me. Hi, how you doing?
It is. It's still weird. I don't feel I'm no different than anyone else. We race all the time. They just happen to film when we race. Sometimes when they put it on the TV. The only time I really want to be important is if you're trying to attract a sponsor. But other than that, I really don't care about it. It's people, if they ask you, they want a picture, they want an autograph or something. It's like, why do you want my picture? I'm no different than anyone else. I'm just here to race. And, I never want to be that guy. A lot of these guys have changed, When they started out, they're pretty cool, and then they get a little attention and big head, and all of a sudden they're too big to even talk to people, and that's some fake shit to me.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen some of that stuff, and especially when people were complaining like a year ago in Top Fuel. It's like, I have to drive in. I mean, I have to fly in, 3 hours beforehand to do a meet and greet. I just want to fly in, do the thing, and leave. And it's like, guy, you have fans. I don't know. Maybe say hi to them?
Yeah. When we did No Prep, it was a real big eye-opener. A lot of people, they have their pits sectioned off. They got caution tape, can't go over the caution tape. And, we'd be sitting out and people be at the end of the car, at the end of the trailer, like looking. I was like, you come on up. Oh, really? Come on out. You want to take a seat? Really? Wow. The little kids, you put them in the car, it makes their day. You guys thirsty? We got some water or something? Wow, really? Man, I'm a racer, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of times if I don't have my car there, I'm spectating too. I know how it's like. I don't want to feel uncomfortable when I'm around someone's car. And I definitely don't want to make someone else feel uncomfortable when they're around me.
John, does that flip you out? I mean, when people like timidly walk up to your vehicle and they don't want to get like too close, they don't want to disturb the star. I mean,
the ones that bother me are the ones who just don't have no respect, and and they want to push past everyone, and they want to get an autograph or something like that when you're like in elbows deep and working on something, and then, hey man, will you sign my shirt? Sure, I'll sign your shirt. And my hands are greasy. I mean, what do you want me to do? You see, I'm in the middle of doing something. Like, you can't even wait 2 minutes until I wipe my hands off. That's the only time it really bothers me. But other than that, people are cool. Like I said, we used to go to Ducks race all the time, and and spectate down there. And I'm a fan. I like drag racing. I still like it, and I understand. On the outside looking in, I'm not going to be that guy. No, you guys can't come over here. No, come on, whatever you guys want.
It's funny because you echo just about every single drag racer that we've ever met or saw, because they're like, look, it's okay to come up to the car. It doesn't bite. Chances are good, unless you're going to try to steal something off the car, take a look.
Yeah. I mean, you ain't gonna hurt my car. I'm not one of those crazy OCD anal guys about, oh my God, don't get oil on my car, or don't scratch my car. My car, it's a tool. It's a tool. We use it to race, and it's gonna get messed up. And you know what? Whatever. Just don't hurt yourself getting in and out of the car. I don't care.
It's amazing, though, isn't it, John? When you get pictures, when somebody gets enough guts to go, John, can we get a picture with you in the car? That is if you're not working on it, you're not thrashing. And they do, and you see that walk like they're walking on a cloud away from you. Look what we got,
Yeah, it is. We were in Scottsbluff, Nebraska a couple years ago, and where we were parked at was actually in the middle of the city behind a Menards. Behind Menards was like this long road. And so every day we would film at night. So the next day we would pull the cars out of the trailer and we would maintenance the cars. And it was like a parade. Every day around noon, we'd have 50 cars driving by, just stopping, gawking. I mean, the school bus drivers and the teachers would take their kids over, and they'd want to take pictures of the car and take pictures. It was really cool. Like, that's when you're like, wow, really? This is like, I can't believe this is like real life. But, the TV thing's a big time deal for other people. They look at the TV stuff and they see you on TV and they think you're some type of person. But we're just normal people, who we race, Well,
I mean, look at this. Look how famous you got, John, without learning how to play the electric guitar.
Yeah. It's great. I mean, we've always raced. We've always raced. Always had a reputation around Detroit area. Just now more people, they see it because the TV shows. When YouTube got big and social media got big, people started paying attention, and then you could talk to people from Texas and argue with them, and you could set up races with Texas. When social media and stuff, they made it a lot easier to do that stuff. So once all that stuff got big, it was a lot easier to reach out and touch other people.
John, has there been anybody that's come up to you and asked for an autograph or a picture or something that you just like, wow, you're asking me? I mean, somebody that...
Pretty much everyone who asks me, that's how, why do you want mine? I mean, I'll gladly do it. It's just why do you want mine? My friends, we joke on each other pretty hard, and I always think it's a setup. Like, you'll be somewhere and someone will come over and be like, can I get your autograph? I'll be like, and I'm looking over the shoulder like, who's setting you up? Like, who's setting me up right now? It's going to be one of my buddy's kids. Like, we don't want your autograph, or something like that. So it's always like, I think it's a setup. Yeah.
God, what kind of friends do you have?
Yeah, we're rowdy crew, I guess. No, sensitive free zone, I always say.
Well, it's almost like when, like, say, somebody like Garlitz walks up to you and go, hey, we saw your stuff. You do really fine work. And you go, humana. Do you know who you are?
Yeah, that hasn't happened yet. No one at that level's ever, actually cared who I was. So that's.
But John, who would you like to have do that? I mean, who that you have seen for an awful long time that you wish would come see? I mean, not wish they'd come to your races, but that you'd bump into them and talk to them.
Oh, there's a lot of guys like a lot of the guys who I really looked up to when I was younger was like Billy Glidden. Billy Glidden was a good guy. Like, he could do everything on a race car. I really respect the people that can do everything. They could drive, they could tune, they could set it up, they could do everything. And those are the people who I really looked up to growing up. Like Billy Glidden, he just comes to mind. But there's a lot of other racers that I'm forgetting right now. You're putting me on the spot, but he's one of the cool dudes. Back when I had the small block nitrous days as a Liberty 5-speed with a clutch. And no one had that other than Billy, and so anytime I run into him somewhere, I always try to, and he's very, very secretive. He doesn't spill the beans for nothing, but I always try to crack him and just try to get something out of him, and he would never, but he was always one of the guys who, it'd be cool if I got tight with him just to learn some of the stuff he's forgot.
It's phenomenal, isn't it? Some of the older guys? Older guys?
Yeah, there's I mean, every year, at the start of the year, I think I'm pretty smart, and then at the end of the year, I realize how dumb I was. So the older guys, they've done this a lot more than I have, so they've learned a lot more than I have the hard way.
It's unique, and talking about unique, we should probably, John, for our listeners that are hearing you right now in the 74 countries that CK goes into, we should probably give a little bit of a background. You started drag racing when?
Actually, my cousin, he used to race NMRA back in the day. They used to street race and stuff, and I always looked up to them. So, I mean, since I was early teens, my uncle, actually, before that, he always had hot rods. He used to always take me for riding his hot rods. I mean, I was a little guy, 2-3 years old. And then when my cousin, when he started racing NMRA, following them around, watching them tear stuff up, I really got into it. And I think when I made my first passes down the racetrack was at Ubley. I was 15, and my Uncle Chevelle went like 12-0, and we lied and said I was 16. And, I pretty much hot-lapped that thing all day.
So if the Genowics are listening, he was 16, honestly. Okay.
Yeah. They didn't own it then. It was some other guys back then, but, yeah, we did. We used to go to Ubley all the time. Ubley was like our home track for the longest time.
From Taylor to Ubley?
Well, I grew up on the east side. I grew up like Roseville, Warren area, and then we used to always go to Ubley. See, Milan used to not like us. So they didn't like they were really hard on tech. So all our cars were kind of faster than what the rules you're allowed to. So they were really hard on us, wouldn't let us make passes, and you had to go slow or do something like this. And they didn't really like us. Then they would always show our times. And when we were grudge racing and street racing a lot, we didn't like going there because they would show our times. So at Ubley they were kind of cooler about it, and you could sneak off to Ubley and you wouldn't have 10 people who you're racing that weekend there watching you. So it was a way to sneak off and get some testing done and then come back and race, and no one will even know you're out there testing.
All right, so this Chevelle was not your Chevelle. So
that was my Uncle Chevelle.
So it's your Uncle Chevelle, and did you say, "Dear Uncle, you know what, I'd like to make a pass"? Or did he say, "I think it's time"?
Nah, my uncle was cool. He passed away now, but he was my idol when I was growing up. I mean, he had the coolest stuff. He's the one who taught me how to wrench on stuff. He's the one who taught me how to hustle. If you want something bad enough, you work for it. He's the one who taught me how to lay brick. Like, he was actually my foster parent. I grew up without a dad, and we were poor. My mom didn't have money, so my uncle kind of took us in, and yeah, he pretty much taught me everything I know.
Taught you how to lay brick?
Yeah, well, he didn't really teach me. I was pretty much slave labor when I was a kid, so he come get us some work, from school, like 10, 11 years old, and, we'd have a change of clothes in the truck, and we're like, oh, no, here, I think I'm going home to go play. No, we're going to work. This job's got to get done, and it's muddy, so we're going to work. And, we had to go to work, before we got to go play.
We're talking residential brick or industrial?
Both. Footing block, like we did basements, crawl spaces, brick block, all that stuff.
Oh, good, because at 11 years old, you can fit, John.
I had to shovel the mortar, clean the footings, carry the block from the work truck to the job site. They'll find something for you to do.
Holy God, John! By the time you were 12 years old, you'd look like Schwarzenegger.
Yeah. I was laying brick when I was 13, 14 years old. I actually became a journeyman bricklayer when I was 18. Like, I joined the bricklayers union when I was 18 as an improver, and then 3 months later I was full-scale journeyman just because I've been laying brick, since I was 12, 13 years old.
Wow.
And, so it actually, when I got out there, I think I was one of the youngest journeymen they've ever had in that local.
How's your back feel?
Oh, good. I broke it a couple years ago racing, and after that, I got a little chubby, and I don't lift like I used to.
Yeah, but when you broke your back, I mean, that was a unique process to go through, wasn't it? Not a lot of people break backs.
Yeah, no, it is. They said actually if it wasn't for my, having a strong core and back, that it would have probably been way worse. But because we were used to work with my back all the time, and they said the muscles and everything, all the supporting stuff around it, actually helped keep it intact. So it would have probably been a worse break if it wasn't for that.
Now, walk people through what actually happened then, because they see like little nips and pieces of it, but they really don't know the full story.
We were at Martin. We were racing, and while we were racing one of the rounds, I didn't have a radiator in the car. I had a water cell, so I had a 3-gallon fuel cell and a 3-gallon water cell, and it was a newer motor that I just bought from some guy in Canada. So I didn't really know a bunch about it. We pretty much put it in the car, and we were racing that weekend. Well, one of the passes, like second or third round, we're racing for $10,000. Second or third round, it cracked the weld. So in between the rounds, I was so worried about getting it fixed so we could continue on to the next round because I felt I had a car to win, that we didn't really diagnose the problem why it split the weld. So then we found a welder in the pits, put it back together. We go out there the next pass. We leave, I don't know, about 100, 200 foot out. It actually, which I didn't know at this time, but the car got a little loose, and, you steer it, and then it hit the wall. When it hit the wall, the hood scoop actually grabbed the throttle, and it actually floored it a little bit, so it went all the way across and hit the other lane, or hit the other wall head on right at the 8th mile. So it was 100, 120-ish miles an hour or something. Car hit the wall square, almost took out Peso. He was standing right there with the video, and car bounced around, caught on fire a little bit, but that was knocked the wind out of me. Tried to get out of the car, couldn't get out of the car. My back hurt really bad, so finally someone, I forgot who got me out of the car, laid me down, and they had to take me to the hospital. I had 2 fractures, L1 and T12 vertebrae in my back. But it didn't require surgery. I had to wear a little a turtle shell brace for 3 or 4 months, and then I don't know, 6 months of rehab or something like that. But it's all good. I don't feel nothing anymore from it, but I don't lift like I used to when I was younger. Oh, I can pick that up now. It's I'm not going to pick that up.
All right.
I never felt helpless. I never been hurt before. That was the first time I've been hurt. Before then, I was invincible. I can't get hurt. And then once I actually got hurt, I'm like, wow, you know what? That shit sucked. I ain't doing that no more.
Because when all that went down, I mean, we talked to Brian Wolf when the one time that he got a little closer to the concrete, and he says you don't recognize anything that goes on until you're kind of done. Sometimes it goes in slow motion, and then sometimes it speeds up. And by what everyone's watching, what you're experiencing, going all over the track and then smacking walls, etc. I mean, was it slow motion for you, or did everything happen so fast? And then, oh, by the way, I'm laying down now.
Yeah, it kind of did. I mean, it was slow motion because, you always kind of got control of the car, at least I feel, and that was, the one time in the car that, putting steering wheel input or hitting the gas, hitting the brakes, it didn't do nothing. It was like when they say you hit ice and it feels like you speed up, that's what it felt like. When it got that out of shape, no matter what you did with the steering wheel, no matter what you did with the gas, brakes, it didn't do nothing. It was going, and there was nothing you could do, so you were just along for the ride. And they, a couple people, they said you're supposed to let go of the steering wheel when you crash because you break your hands. And, man, I had a death grip on that thing. I actually folded the steering wheel around the steering shaft. Yeah, wow. It was, I crushed that thing. It tore up the car pretty good.
And then
that was a car that I built. I built that car, actually. That was that actually was the first car that I built. So that was, I'm glad I built it right.
I mean, when did you get a chance to take a look at the pictures or the video?
Right afterwards, when when the ambulance took us to the hospital, I'm in the ER, and they're like, what happened? What happened? The video was already on YouTube. I just showed them the video.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
What
Thanks,
happened
world.
here? I got a video of it. Check it out. Yeah, it's crazy. People, they don't have no shame.
I mean,
they post whatever, try to get likes.
Could you watch that video? I mean, how long did it take you to see it?
Yeah, you watch it. It's just a bad day at the office, right? Just something that somebody would could have should have now thinking back, it's like you dummy. But at the moment, you're just trying to make the next round, and then now looking back, it's like you're an idiot. You should have never. You should have put the car up. Of course after the fact, and then when the car wiggles a little bit. I mean, I drive, that's what that round thing you hold on to is for, the steer, right? So all these cars, these small tire cars, they move, they wiggle. And you try to drive out of it, and just that one, it just got a little bit too far out of shape. But I didn't know there was water underneath the tire until, a couple days later, and everyone's like, yeah, you had a 300-foot trail of water behind you before you hit the wall. Well, that's why it felt like it was on ice, right? So, slicks on water don't really work that good.
John, how long did it take you to get back in then?
I mean, the car was pretty much trashed, but the drivetrain was still good. So when I was off work, I actually had a little bit of money saved up, and we were able to find another roller. That was the orange car that I have now, and we went down to Texas. My cousin and I went down to Texas. We ended up buying a car. It was already set up for the big black Chevy we had, so. It was actually fairly simple to just get back in another car. That's kind of when I tell people, it's just a piece of metal. We could replace it. It's just as long as you're still good and you're not hurt permanently. I mean, it's a piece of metal. We could fix it.
Yeah, but
replace it.
When you're looking at that car and you're remembering what you hit, did you kind of go, maybe I'll do it tomorrow, or did you say, come on, let's just turn the key and go?
Yeah, this is what I do. I don't do nothing else. Like, people are like, what do you do for fun? I race. What do you do? Like, if I'm not racing, I'm trying to make money to go race. I don't drink. I don't party. I don't go on vacation. I don't have a crazy house. Don't have, we race. This is all I do. If I didn't race, I don't know what I would do.
Wow.
So as soon as the doctors cleared me to go back racing, I was back racing.
With no hesitation, nothing like flashbacks from that?
Nah. It is, it's something you learn. It's a lesson. It was just a hard lesson.
So now you're invincible again?
No. I'm a little bit more cautious now. We were racing a couple weeks ago at Lapeer, and it was pretty bad conditions, and and all I kept saying to myself was like, man, I'm making sure I'm going home. I'm making sure I'm going home, and not the pot wasn't big enough to really tear your stuff up, and I probably shouldn't even been in the first place, just because I'm kind of getting upset at some of these promoters out here. I probably shouldn't have been in it, but I was there as local as convenient, so I said, screw it, let's go out there. And then in the morning when we got there, we knew it was going to be cold, but there was like water on top of like the timing blocks at the starting line, and it was frozen. I'm like, oh, this is going to be bad. And then it rained like the day before really bad, so all the water's coming up in the track. I knew it was going to be pretty bad, so I was really hesitant, like on the gas. Like, if I had to pedal it, I wasn't getting back in it.
But John, what is, like, when you were talking about conditions, if you had your druthers, what is the perfect condition for you to race at?
I know prep, so I don't care. I don't care. It's just, this is what we sign up for. I don't care if we're racing on grass, dirt roads, whatever. This is what you're signed up for. At that time, though, I didn't have my car really set up to go that slow that needed to win that day, so I knew it was going to be trouble for me. But these small tire no prep races, you got to be prepared to go as fast as 650, as slow as 60. So these are. As long as both lanes are equal, that's all I'm on for. It's just me versus you at that point.
And you would race on a dirt road?
If we're both racing on a dirt road and the pot was big enough, heck yeah.
Would you really? Have you ever done that?
Yeah. We've been on some roads that have been equivalent to dirt roads, probably. Yeah, we've been on some shady stuff before.
Yeah, anywhere slightly in the Midwest, because you do see pictures of some of these things, and you go, "Wait a minute, is this a landfill? What is this place?"
Yeah, it's kind of stupid to have the combination I got in my car now, and then you got to go that slow. And but you know what? It's there because in case we got to go fast, I don't have to change enough. It's easier to take away power than it is to add power. So sometimes I want to be prepared for every situation. Like I said, we pretty much race for a living now. This is what we do. We go every weekend to go race. We try to find the biggest pots, and we chase it. And I feel we have a car that we can win, pretty much anywhere as long as I'm on my game. If I'm on my game, then and the car does what it's supposed to do, I feel we have a car that can win anywhere.
How much pressure do you put on yourself, John?
Everything. Anything less than a win is unacceptable. I'm a sore loser. I don't like losing. I'm not a good spectator, so like if we lose, I usually leave. Just because I look at like, man, I could beat these guys, and then you see someone win a $15,000-$20,000 pot, and you're like, man, I could have had that. So you're just beating yourself up. And no, you got to win. You got to win. If we're going there, we're trying to win.
Yeah, John, you bring up an interesting point. When you drive home, there's three of you on a good day. How long, if you go out, say in the second round or first round, and you knew you could have had it, and for whatever reason you didn't win that day, how long do you keep that with you?
It's the worst. It's the longest, quietest drive home. It's
really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the longest quiet. Oh, it's horrible, especially if it's something stupid that, I made a mistake, man. I don't want to talk to no one. Yeah, it's bad. That's probably why I go through crew guys so fast, so much. I probably can't deal with my little...
Really?
Well, when we win, it's great. Winning's fun. It's like I said, I never did drugs before, but if I got the same feeling from drugs as I do winning, I'd OD for sure. Like, I'd be chasing that. That's what I chase. I chase those wins. That feeling when you win. You're on top of the world. It could be the smallest race. It doesn't matter. If you win, you won. And that's my high. That's what I chase.
Yeah, because for somebody that does it professionally like you do, I mean, we're here for the cash. Thank you for your trophy and your sticker and your photo next to the tower, but we're here for the check. I mean,
yeah, we're here for the money. We're here for the money. This is an expensive deal, and you're never going to get 100% return on your investment, but you got to try to get something. So, when we did the TV show stuff, I thought, we'll make money. Now there's no money in that. You don't. It doesn't even cover the cost to get there. Like for the peanuts that you make, if you make anything, it doesn't even cost what it. If you got to go to, like I said, we were in Texas for a month, and for what I made, the first week that's gone. So the rest is like, it's all on you, to try to make for it, or you try to chase sponsors, or you get some kind of help from here or there, if they want to see their name on the car. There's some good people that look out for me and help me out, and without them, I wouldn't be able to do what I do.
Well, perhaps we should name them and give them a little tip of the hat.
There's a lot of them. Trust me, there's a lot of them, but the biggest one is like Amanda Products. They're based out of Livonia, Michigan. And they've been with me for a long time now, and they help me out. They help me out tremendously. Marty Marilette's another one. I mean, any part that he sells, it's on my car. We do a lot of R&D for him, and if him or I have a cool idea, hey man, let's try this out. All right, let's do it. And then we got Access Power. They 16-volt batteries. Redline Racing Oil is a big one that I picked up last year. They helped me out with the oil. We change the oil every time we go to the racetrack. Like, these alcohol motors just destroy oil. So they always look out for me really good. Wolf Aircraft, they're another local company. If I want to change a nitrous motor one week and I want to change to a Pro Charger motor the next week, I got to build headers. They take care of me pretty good. Nitrous Express, they've always looked out for me. Even if I don't have nitrous on the car, they still look out. Awesome guys. Iski Cams out of California, lifters, camshafts, whatever I need. NGK Spark Plugs got with us. Detroit Battery Company, another local company. They, anyone needs any batteries, local, hit them up. IC Big Firearms, one of my buddies, he owns he sells the guns. But pretty much all the racers around the Detroit area go to him. They buy all their guns, ammo, anything you want. So it's Detroit Wrecker Sales, another local company. They help us out whenever we can. Summit Racing, they gave me a commercial account, so it helps on parts a little bit. VP Fuels, AFCO Racing, they just hooked me up with some shocks this last year. We're still trying to learn those. I've been racing the last 3 or 4 years with some shocks that I bought on Marketplace, Facebook Marketplace. So now I actually got some real good stuff. So yeah, hopefully once I get this converter issue figured out with this car, it should really start making some moves. Express Equipment, they're a company on the west side of the state. Dave Atkins, he actually races No Prep Kings. It's his company. They help me out when they can. And PF Communications, they do like internet, security, cameras, all types of stuff there, Mount Clemens. But those guys all look out, And it could be as little as a couple dollars, or it could be as much as just giving a discount on the parts. Everything. I'm going to buy the parts anyway. So if someone's going to look out, and we'll give you 50% of what it is new. That's awesome. Because I'm going to buy the stuff anyway. So anything that looks out and is very, very much appreciated. Anyone who looks, I'm very loyal to the people who look out for me. So anything I can do to repay the favor, I'm going to go above and beyond.
John, you bring up an interesting point. How in 2023, how difficult is it to get a sponsor?
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. A lot of the big guys, from the shows and stuff, they kind of ruined it for everyone else.
Right.
Because they just took advantage of it, and a lot of them, like, they got whatever they could get for free, and then they sold it. So they're not trying to, market the brand, not trying to rep the brand that helped them out. They won't run stickers. They don't show the product being used. It's very difficult. Some of them they won't even look out for you anymore. They're like, nah, we can't do it anymore. We tried that a couple times with a couple of guys, and it totally backfired. We invest ton of money into these guys, and we didn't get nothing in return on it. So they ruin it for everyone. And then if the only time, I don't know how to put it, like you have, if you're in the corporate world, it'd probably be easier to get sponsors. My guys, we're street guys. We're none of us are rich. All my guys, we're little guys. You know what I'm saying? So we can't look out for the next guy. To where if you're just in the corporate world and you're playing with millions and millions, and your company's worth all this money, it'd be easier to look out and here's a little bit of money. Here, let's go racing. Something like that. But for me personally, it's harder. And then I have a problem with asking, like begging. Like my guys get on me hard because it's hard for me to go and approach someone. Hey man, you want to give me some money? No, it's just I just work harder and try to make it happen and do it on my own. But to race at that level, you need a big sponsorship. Like No Prep Kings. Everyone asks me, "Are you going to do No Prep Kings?" I can't. They're like, well, why not, dude? It's probably going to be $500,000 to do that series. And they're like, wow, really? Yeah, it's crazy because you're gone 6 months out of the year. You still got the bills at home. You gotta maintenance the car. You gotta pay a crew if they're going to be on the road with you that long. And then the amount of miles that you're driving to every race, like you almost have to stay on the road. And one race is in New Hampshire, the next race is in Illinois, then the next race is in Georgia, and then I don't know if that's but it's totally across the country. Every week is totally across the country. It's like nothing's in a line. So and then I don't want to go out there and get blown out first round. So you got to have good parts. So just to make the show ain't good enough. If I can go out there and win, or at least try to win, I'm not interested.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's got to be tough for you to, like, knock on a door and say, hi, you might have seen me before. We're looking for sponsorship. I mean, it's a tough rap to do for anybody.
It is. It really is. We went and had marketing pamphlets made out, and had all the intentions on handing them out. I think I had 50 of them made up, and I think I still got 47 of them. I think I handed 3 of them out. Yeah, I just... Like I said, it's just I hate asking. I hate begging, and I feel it's begging, but it's there's a lot of exposure. When you start looking at the analytics on what the show does and how many people watch the show, it's huge. And
sure.
People get off on seeing their stickers on the car and seeing it on TV, and then we do so many races every weekend. So we're every week we're racing somewhere pretty much, unless the weather's horrible like it's been the last week and probably this weekend. I'm not racing again. Just Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky. We're there every weekend unless we're doing a show stuff. Somewhere in California or far. It's usually somewhere down south because they usually do it in the off months, the winter months. So we have to go down to Texas or somewhere where it's warm in the wintertime.
John,
But
go ahead, John.
Yeah, it's smart. If you look at it for advertising point, it's just me. I'm just bad at putting it out there for people. Like I almost need like a marketing person or something for me to do it for me, so I don't have no emotional attachment to it or something. I don't know.
Well, that's a real art. It really is to go into somewhere and say you don't know us, but we could use I don't know, $50,000.
yeah, that'd be unbelievable. What I could do with 50,000, it'd be amazing.
Well,
but it's that would be awesome. But again, like they say, a closed mouth don't get fed, and I'm that guy. I don't know. It's something about my guys on me all the time. Man, you got to reach out to someone. Yeah. I'm not gonna do it, and it's my own fault. It's no one's fault but my own. It's just my own fault. It's my fault. I can't blame it on no one else. It's me being scared, I guess.
Yeah, but not being scared is that you've done this thing you've been racing for what, over a decade now, way over a decade, right?
Oh, I'm 42 years old, so yeah, we've been racing a long time. It's funny because I still think I'm one of the younger guys. And I'm like, yeah, and then I'm like, no, I'm that old guy now. Dang it! Yeah, when I grew up, I was 18, 16, 17, 18 years old, and everyone was in their 30s, and I'm like, I was a young guy. Now it's like, man, I'm that old guy now. Oh God, when that happened?
Well, you're going to go to bed at 9 o'clock now?
No.
John,
It's just, yeah.
You've seen a lot of changes, especially if you've been a good Michigan lad like yourself. Obviously, you've seen a lot of changes that's going around in all the tracks in Michigan. I would say in the last 5 years, have you seen a big change? We got more tracks open now in Michigan and stuff, but is it different? Is it a different vibe?
Yeah, it is. It's pretty different now. It's mostly like every track now, like they want to have their own races. So you got 200 promoters out there, and everyone wants to promote their own deal. So
that's where I was taking you, John.
Huh?
This is where I was taking you. Yep. Let's talk about these promoters.
Yeah. So they book on top of other tracks, So it's like impossible to get all the cars in one place, and then so now we kind of been picking and choosing where we go, because a lot of these promoters, I feel they're just being greedy and they're not putting nothing on top. They're just taking all the money, and a good for instance, like we went to one of our first races this year, we went to Edgewater Motorsports and Cincy Street Nights. It was free entry, $10,000 a race. So it cost us $40 for a tech card, and we're automatically entered in a race for $10,000. So we're like, wow, this is awesome. The promoter actually did a lot of work. He secured the sponsorship money, or him and the track. I don't know how they did it, but somehow they secured $10,000 for us to race for. And there was 40 cars. Awesome. It was great. Went down there, we went to the finals. I lost in the finals by like 6 inches. It still hurts, but whatever. Cost me a lot of money. But anyway, so then the next week we went to another race. Another race we go to, it's 40 cars. It's $150 a race, $50 for the track, which I'm cool with. $100 that goes into the pot. Up into the event, they're showing all these sponsors. Oh, we got like 10, 12 sponsors. Buy a shirt with all the sponsors. Yeah, cool. Da 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 da. I didn't make it that far, but anyway, when they ended up splitting with 4 cars left, and they split $4,100 between 4 cars. And I guess someone out there said something, and they started like dogging them. Oh, and this is when it, I've always been thinking this, and this is when it really got me upset. Is if someone wants to speak their mind, like really, there's 41 cars here. We get all these spectators, and the promoter they didn't put a nickel on the pot. Like, where'd the extra money go? Then the next week we go to another place in Kentucky, and there's $20,000 guaranteed to win. They paid first place was $15,000, second place was $3,000, and the semis was $1,000 each. So it was $15,000. They had 40 cars show up. It was $200 a race, $50 for the tech card. So they only got, out of the 40 cars, they only got $8,000 of that $20,000. Mm-hmm. So the other 12 was sponsored, or the track put up, or the promoter put up. They had a $2,000 Power Wheels big wheel race, like for free for the kids. Like, this is awesome. So how can we go from one place where they give you a free entry $10,000 race, and then they all had 40 cars? So how do we go to this next one, and there's no money on top? And then we go to this next one, and then there's $12,000 on top, and then $2,000, and then it's like, wow, like this is amazing that there's just greedy promoters who don't give back, and then there's really good promoters who actually work and hustle, and they find sponsors, they create a pot, and they put on a good show. So I want to support those guys. The guys who we don't need. If you're not going to put nothing on top of the pot, I don't think we even need you. We don't need someone there. Like, it's easy for me to text 20 people and be like, yo, man, we're going to go to Milan on Wednesday. We're going to have our own little hat race, $200, and we'll stage our own cars. We'll pair it. We don't need someone there, to just make money off of us, And there's so many people out there who are doing it, and it's really starting to bother me now. So I probably get anywhere from 5 to 7 messages a week. Hey, man, come to my race. We're going to have a race over here in Tennessee. And, okay, well, what's the pot going to be? Well, it's going to be, 100%, payback, whatever. So what happens if 3 cars show up and it's $200 a race, $600? Oh, well, we're hoping for, 50 cars. Okay, but guaranteed it. Well, I don't want to take the risk. I don't want to take a risk and put up $10,000 and only take. So wait a minute. You want me to take a risk with my $100,000 car, with my, my rig, all the gas money, wear and tear on my car, driving past other events to come to you, but yeah, you don't want to put nothing on top. No, I'm not going to do it. And then I'm hoping, more people start noticing this and they stop, supporting those type of people, because we don't need that many promoters. If there's some really good promoters out there who really do good work, they got a big following. There's a reason, because they actually add to the pot. They bring something to the table, not someone who just mooches off the top and just takes and takes and takes and takes. Because we are the show. The racers are the show. And if you're not going to put nothing on top, then I hope the racers don't come support you.
John, is there some promoters that you take a look at and it says this race promoted by somebody, Bob Smith? I mean, is there some names that you see, they're promoting it, that you say, yeah, let's go over there, or, who, Bob Smith? No, let's walk that one. Is there some that...
I don't really care. It's just, like I said, I look at what the payout is, and that's pretty much, we do, don't get me wrong, now there are some convenient ones, like, the Milan, like the Port Home Puddles. It's only 35 minutes from home. I love Milan Dragway. I do whatever I can do to support those guys. If we're not racing, we're going to Port Home Puddle. I don't care. It's just something that Milan Dragway is my home. They're awesome. Do whatever. But now all these new fly-by-night wannabe promoter guys, nah, man, I'm probably not going to go. And unless you put something on top. You put something on top, man, awesome. You work for the racers, and the racers will follow. But yeah, if we're just racing for 100%, money back, and I've actually been hearing that sometimes the guys ain't even getting 100% of their money back.
Really?
So like I've been hearing, when I made a post about this on Facebook a couple weeks ago, and a couple people sometimes you only get 100% back. Like they take money off the top. Like that's not going to happen, And then it's just. It's watered down now. There's just it's cooler to be a promoter now than it is a racer, because you make all the money, you get all the power, you get the best parking in the house, and you're making money on top of it. And a lot of times there's 2 people that make money on race day. Usually it's the promoter and a winner. That's it. So the 39 other cars out of the 40 go home losers, and the only 2 people who are making money are the promoter and the race winner. I mean, that's wrong, in my opinion. Even if the promoter takes a little bit out of his cut and pays second, third, or fourth, something just to help him out a little bit. But just don't be 100% greedy, and you have no value. If you're not going to bring nothing to the table, then I have no reason to even come there.
And that's the one thing that we really saw from you, John. If you haven't seen it, John has on his Facebook page, I assume it's still up there, John, about the little bit that you had about promoters. It's well worth reading. Absolutely, because really it caught our eye, because we've seen for the tracks that we've gone through, and not even for the Pour Your Own Puddle folks, but for just about any kind of racing, there are some promoters that are dead on. And then there's some promoters that I guess used to be music promoters in the 70s who are just weaselly.
Yeah. Yeah, they just try.
It's right, John. I mean, because you've seen some, and it's got to break your heart, because the poster and the flyer, everything looks good. They got the pictures of the cars, they got the payout thing. Then you see those dreaded words on the bottom, based on car count.
Right. Yep.
I mean, do you walk past those when you see that?
It's like I said, unless it's extremely convenient, or if we're rained out everywhere else, then this is the only place we could go to. I'm not going to say I'm never not going to go to one, but chances of me going to one and there's something better that's guaranteed, I'm going to drive past yours to go to the guaranteed one. And it just because as a racer, it's just like I said, if I'm willing to take all the risks and the promoter's not willing to take a risk, then I don't need you there. Back in the day, the No ETs, they never had a promoter, and they were some of the biggest and best shows there were. And Friday night heads up race at Milan, they don't have a promoter, and they attract, just because it's guaranteed payout. You're going to go race, you're guaranteed racing, it's going to be organized, and people go to it. And you get these wannabe promoters who think, oh, it's easy, I could just do it, and you go there and it's so unorganized. They don't know how to do chip draw, they don't know how to stage the cars. They don't know what to do in case of a buy happens, or they just don't know. And but yet they want to make all the money, and they don't know what's going on. Usually the promoters who are on it, they understand, and they got their sponsors that actually help with money, so they throw something on top because they got a good following, and they could guarantee. Well, I know I'm going to have 30, 40 cars show up, so we can put $10,000 guaranteed. And then those are the people. If you ain't got faith in yourself, I'm not coming there.
John, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's just me rambling on. Yeah, if they're not going to take the risk, and if they ain't got no hustle in it, then you know what? I don't feel I should come there and support your event.
Yeah, it is kind of unusual, and you brought up an excellent point. There has been so many times when it used to be the track, the racers. Mm-hmm. Why do you need? Because it's almost like, so some of these guys are coming in like big stuffing. I mean, they're just the side of wearing a big white mink coat and say, "Look at me, I'm the promoter."
Right.
And it's like, well, do you know? Are we going to do drop arm? What's drop arm?
Yeah.
We're going home. I mean, is that because you can tell that it's the flashy, and they get all the chicks, and they get everybody, look at me, I'm the promoter, I'm a big deal. But when it really comes to doing this thing, if you don't know what you're doing, you're screwing up with a lot of people's livelihoods. I know how much it costs to bring a sportsman car out and win for $50. If you lose just $200 on our level, it was a good race. You didn't break apart.
Right.
You're a good thing. And so on your level, whew, I mean, do you see a promoter that you like? I mean, is there a race that from a promoter that you go, I like whatever he's selling, I'm going?
Honestly, my favorite event of all time was an event in Chicago. It's called COTS, King of the Streets, and it was awesome. They started this 15 years ago, and we used to make sure we would go to them every year. It's not, they don't do it anymore. I think someone else tried to spin off and tried to copy it, but it's never got the attention that COTS did. And that was the best event ever. I really wish that happened still. But now there's so many knockoffs. But it was $20,000 a win, and they always got a lot of cars because it was his set of rules was solid. The racing was solid. Everything about it was solid. They ran a tight ship. There was no special treatment. No one, red light, green light. It's one of those deals. It was an instant green deal. You actually won with the finish line camera. You got electronics on it. You don't have to worry about someone standing in front of the tire crack camera and red lighting, or worry about the flagger saying, "Oh, he left early." Now you got electronics that does it, right? And then the finish line guy, "Oh, well, so and so they got a horrible friggin' mobile cell phone, and they're doing the finish line camera, and cars going by 150 miles an hour, and you can't see nothing but a big blur." But they're supposed to call the finish off of that. Man, let's just use electronics. Let's take the human error out of it. And that was an awesome event. I still wish it was still going on right now, but it's not. But a lot of people are trying to copy that event, and they just haven't been able to put on a show like they have, and get the following that they had back in the day.
John, I mean, with all your knowledge that you acquired over all these decades, would you be a promoter?
I probably, if I was, I wouldn't have put that post up. I want to expose the hustle, right? Now there's nothing to gain.
Yeah.
I would have just been a promoter and sold the race car and made all the money. But no, a lot of my buddies, they want me to, but we don't need any more promoters. There's enough promoters out there. I don't even really, like I said, unless you're bringing something to the table, I don't even really consider you a promoter. You're someone who's an organizer. It's easy for a track to put it on. Any track owner could do it. If he has a following, or if you, I don't know. I can't say it's easy because I haven't done it. But in my opinion, if you had a track and you had some type of event, and somehow, let's just say, the people I talk to, I say, dude, let's do something off the gate, and let's do $2 or $3 or $5 per person that comes in the gate goes towards the pot, and then we're racing towards the pot. So if you have, say, 1,000 spectators show up and you put $5 per head on the top of the pot, now we got $5,000 on top of the pot. So if it's $200 a car and we got, say, 40 cars, that's $8,000. Then you get the $5 per head, so another $5,000. That's $13,000. So either you do the 8,000 pays first, second place pays, $3,000 and $1,000, if my math's right, or whatever. Then you can pay out spots. Now there's 4 winners that day, and then also by paying at whatever the head count is, the spectators, you're making the racers promote that event. Because I want 1,000, I want 5,000 people to show up to that race. Because the more people that come through the gate, the more money I get if I win. So you're having, instead of one person promote, now you're having 40 people promote. And that will reach way more people than just that one person would.
Yeah, I mean, you bring up an interesting point. The difference between a promoter and an organizer, John, is what?
A promoter brings something with them. An organizer doesn't bring nothing with them.
Ta-da! See, and there's so many people that misuse the term promoter when they really are organizers, aren't they?
Yeah, they're just organizers. They make a post on Facebook, and they're cool with making a flyer on the internet. And hey guys, I'm having an event over here. Obviously you got to talk to the owner, track owner, and he's got to allow you to do it. But I mean, honestly, what's stopping me from having a shootout at a No ET Nationals, right? So if we're having a No ET Nationals at Milan Dragway, and I say, you know what, I'm gonna have a 28-inch shootout at No ET Nationals, and I'm gonna say, $1,000 for the baddest 28-inch guys here. We get 7-8 guys. They give me $8,000. Okay, guys, we're gonna race. We're gonna do a chip draw at my trailer in between rounds. We're gonna pair up in the lanes, and we're gonna race. There's no one stopping me. I can do this. I don't need no one, because I'm just organizing a group of people to race. Now, I'm not going to try to get a cut on top of everything else and sell sponsors to do this, and not bring nothing to the table. No, I'm just going to, just do it out of, I like to race, and you know what? We're going to hat race. I like hat racing. Grudge racing, it kind of got carried away. Now to win $5,000, you got to be willing to bet $5,000. But hat racing, you can invest $200 and beat a couple guys, and then you could make $5,000. So you're making odds on your money, kind of like a casino. I like that. I like investing $200-$300 to try to win $5,000 or $10,000. I don't like having to gamble $10,000 to make $10,000. So hat racing is really a big thing right now. But these wannabe promoters who just organize it, you don't bring nothing to the table, and I don't want. There's already so many events. There's so many events on top of each other every weekend. Like I said earlier, you can't get all the same cars, or you can't get all the cars in one place. They actually have a really, really, really cool event, because they're spread out all throughout, the states.
Yeah, I mean, we were just thinking about that, too. I mean, for all the stuff that was going on. Oh, and there, thank you. I just got handed. For the folks that are listening to you right now from Brazil and Ireland and stuff like that, you better explain what hat racing is.
Hat racing is like if you have eight people, you draw chips or you put your name on a piece of paper or whatever, you throw it into a hat, and because we don't have some type of qualifying, usually all these racing's off the trailer, so you don't have a qualifying ladder or bracket ladder or anything like that. So pretty much we just draw names out of a hat or a bucket or whatever, and you pair whoever matches your number, whoever's name you draw, that's who you race. So it just gave it the term hat racing. And then next round, the winners go on, and they put all their names into a hat again, and you pull your names out, and you race until there's one left.
You know what, John? What did you do when Milan wasn't around?
Oh, man, it was horrible. It was horrible. Yeah, that's actually when we tried doing a No Prep Kings deal, and we traveled all around the country, and Milan not being open really sucked because you couldn't test at home. Like, there's no place that has testing tuned during the week. And I didn't realize how much I missed Milan until it was gone.
Yeah, and that was everybody, too, and everybody was like, Friday nights you would get that vibration, that shake in your body. It's like we should be going down to Milan right now. I mean,
even during the week, no one has test and tune during the week. Milan's the only one that has test and tune during the week. Martin doesn't. They're only a few weekends. Lapeer doesn't. They can't race at night. Ubley's only open on a weekend. Even Norwalk's not open, during like one Wednesday a month they are. But other than that, it's like you really can't test nowhere during the week. Well, Milan, we go test, Wednesday. They got the Harry's rental, before the first Friday. So usually you got racing almost every day, and it's only 35, 40 minutes from my house. It was awesome. It was convenient. We would always have to drive 4, 5, 6 hours to go test and tune, and it sucked.
Yeah, now look, and now you're bigger than better on Friday. I mean, are you there every Friday as much as you can be? I mean, you do once a month or whatever.
I'm usually at Milan like every day it's open, unless I'm racing somewhere else.
Every day it's open?
If I'm not, Wednesdays. Well, maybe not bracket day. I'm not a bracket racer, so maybe not bracket day. But if I'm not racing my personal car, I'm helping other people. I try to tune a couple cars and. A lot of buddies, because I race so much, a lot of times they want me to give them a hand with their stuff. And if I'm not racing, you know what? Now's the time. Let's go race your car. So yeah, we're usually there almost every day. It's open.
John, and quickly if now that you're where you're at right now, is there any other area in drag racing where you'd want to go? Any other class? I mean, is there somewhere? I mean, you don't have to do it like permanently or something, but you'd like, man, I'd like to try that once.
It's honestly, I think small tire no prep is the hottest thing in drag race right now. If I talk to anyone, I like racing for the money and the amount of races that's every weekend. The richest guy doesn't win. If you go race Pro Mod, you got to be a multimillionaire. If you want to go race No Prep Kings, you got to be a multimillionaire or have a huge sponsor. Top Fuel, anything else like that, you got to be rich. I'm not a rich guy. This is like real grassroots style racing. We race on crappy surfaces, so the guy with the most horsepower doesn't win. I like the challenge. It's me versus you at that point, and I like it. It's like a chess match. That's how I look at small tire no prep. We all got horsepower. We could all go super, super fast, but we have to figure out how fast can we go on this surface on this pass. And I have to outsmart you. I really like that part of this, and I'm doing what I want to do. Yeah, you always want it. Like I said, you would love to go race a Pro Mod car and go 350s every pass, but the amount of money that takes, I don't have it, and I don't know if I ever will. So this is where I'm at, and I'm doing what I like to do.
Yeah, but if somebody said, hey, look, John, would you like to get on the helmet and go in this top fueler and take it down for a spin? Would you?
I mean, I ain't going to say no. I'll race anything.
Have you ever been in one? Like an alcohol car or something?
No. I drove Skinny's car last year, and that was pretty wild. And, that car was pretty cool. That was fun. We actually won the last Friday night race at Milan with it. But that was I've been watching Skinny Kid's car, his olds, for years, and they called me out of the blue and said, hey, man, we need a driver. You want to make a couple passes? I'm like, hell yeah. So we went out there and made some passes, and it was a good time.
Amazing. And talking about amazing, for everybody we want to tell the CKiW iRADIO 76 affiliate, we went a little bit over here with Mr. Quick subsequently, though. We do want to say thanks, John, so very much, because we wanted to keep you for about a half hour. We kept you for a little bit longer than that.
Yeah.
So thank you.
My girl always says I talk too much.
No. That's what this is all about. And finally, where can people get a hold of you? I mean, where can they find you? Obviously on Facebook and everywhere, but if they wanted, I assume you have swag. God bless you.
I do, but I don't have a lot. I usually just bring to the racetrack with me. I don't really mail a lot of stuff out. It's all, but social media is John Quick 302 on Instagram, and then John Quick on my Facebook page, and then I check my messages all the time. I get messages all the time. I'm usually pretty active on it. So if someone wants to look out or give me a shout out or something, I'll do my best to get back to them.
Are you quick? I shouldn't say are you quick with that. Are you fast with when somebody sends you a message, or is that like, we'll get back to you in a week because I'm busy?
It depends how good the question is. If it's some generic, stupid question, then I probably ain't gonna. If it's a good question, man, I'm with you. I like that. But yeah, I don't. If it's just some random stupid stuff, nah, I probably ain't gonna respond.
John, what's a stupid question?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know now. I don't even want to bring it up. Like,
all right.
I get messages up like, seriously, like, you can't be serious. Like, I don't know.
All right, John.
Yeah, I can't think of it right now, but I get them all the time.
Next race you're going to be at, if people can come out to see you?
It depends if the weather's good. There's like 5 different races this weekend, but it's looking like it's going to rain this weekend. So, like I said, I don't know. I don't know where the next race is going to be.
All
We're
right.
going to look at the forecast Thursday and see what it looks like, and like I said, try to find the biggest spot, and we're going to go there.
All right, so if you want to go to John's Facebook page or link up with the Instagram, so you always know where John Quick's going to be next, I guarantee you're going to get a hell of a show. I mean, this guy is in it to win it, and this is not for just to do a couple of burnouts and make happy.
No. There's no paid appearances here. We're going to try to win. I'm not going there like some of these guys that get paid appearances and they just like you just said, do a couple burnouts and hey, everything's great. No, this is real racing. If we don't win, we don't make no money, and not a good time.
Unbelievable, John. Thanks so very much for coming on with us. You'll come on with us again, won't you, one day?
Yeah. I'm always down to talk about myself. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, I'm down. Yeah, whenever, just give me a holler and we'll talk.
All right, we'll see you at Milan. Thanks, John.
All right, buddy.
Bye now. Johnny Quick, everybody. We're John Quick. Hell of a guy, huh? I mean, that's exactly what you heard here is what when we were talking off mic a couple of weeks ago, that's what John speaks like. I mean, talk about a guy that is sometimes in drag racing, and depending on the level and depending on how much fame you have, there's about a 3% problem with people with egos in drag racing. And clearly John's been on TV. He's a name in the sport, and yet he's come on. Again, we normally try to keep people about 35 minutes or so, but I mean that he was generous enough with his time to go way over that. But interesting guy, isn't he? I mean, that's kind of cool how he knows, how we now know how he thinks and how he approaches stuff. Amazing. Talk about amazing. It's time for some Grand Funk here on the only station that gives a damn about the greatest sport on earth, and that's drag racing. Welcome to CKiW. Hi, Radio 76.